I see Skeletor. I see Skeletor on the bookcase. Bucket.
Hello. Has you got Skeletor on used bookcase?
Bucket.
When the DM is role-playing with himself. You got the chicken wing.
I got a biggity ball. Put on the chicken wing.
And your chicken wing. You go. Wow. Hi, I'm at GenCon. Just kidding. Boom, 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 biggy, boom, biggy, boom, biggy, boom, 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 biggy, boom, biggy, boom, biggy, boom, 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 biggy, boom, biggy, boom, biggy, boom, boom, boom.
As you got a Skeletor on used bookcase.
Normally there would be some beatboxing in this section, but instead,
hey, is that Skeletor on used bookcase over there?
Yes. Bucket.
That's role playing. Yo, it's Ben, my OG Gen Con homie. What's up, y'all? Greetings, programs. It's Ingrid Bernal here. Hankering Fernail, your buddy. From Runehammer, this is Drunkens and Dragons. Oh, yeah. All this splendor. Oh, yeah. Your ass is mine for 3 minutes. Bonesaw. Man, that was a minute ago. Bonesaw references? Nobody's doing Bonesaw references anymore. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long, lonely month of total silence in the middle of summer. The heat waves have been pouring over the northern hemisphere of our world, while the southern hemisphere freezes in polar loneliness. Lola. Amy Lola. Anyway, see, as you can see, the nonsense battery is really filled up. So if we're going through this YouTube video today, and there's a lot of tomfoolery and downright stupid, well, then you know you're watching a Runehammer video. Hi, everybody. Okay, I've been gone for a month. And I mean straight up gone. Hunter, you repping Bonesaw? Bonesaw! Anyway. Yeah, I've been straight up gone. And not even just like being lazy and not posting videos on YouTube, which is the old definition of gone. This is the new definition of gone, where I was actually gone. So I became betrothed. I got married. I am now a married man. And to celebrate our marriage, we went on a journey of self-discovery. And so I'm not really here to talk about one particular thing today, mainly just here to say, like, I'm back, I'm alive, I'm still here. It's time to get back into it. But when I was out on the Rizzo, chillaxing for the Hizani Muzoon, it was great, because I swear for 5 years, I have not stopped thinking about all these little doodads with RPGs, and thinking about like all the people that I've been interacting with. Like when I set out on this journey 6 some years ago, sure, I mean, there's a lot of creative stuff to do, and there's a lot of cool hobby stuff and all that, but there are people. The people are what make it fascinating and a lot of work, honestly, and like keeping up with everybody, talking and responding to all of it and everything. And it's just it eats your brain a little bit. It's one thing to just be like, I'm going to make a book, and you're kind of working on the book and you're doing your thing, and that's kind of cool. But other humans interacting with you, asking questions and looking for solutions and stuff, that's like enthralling. So I've been like balls deep in all that stuff. I normally don't use that phrase. I've been neck deep. That's usually what I say. I think that's a little better, a little more tact. I've been neck deep in that kind of stuff for over 5 years. But for this break, I took 4 solid weeks to just completely deactivate the brain, and also like totally like decimate my workspace here. All this splendor you see around you, which is Runehammer, just made a complete wreck of it. Hit the reboot button on the whole thing, and as you can see, I even have a brand new camera angle. Everything in here has been switched like 90 degrees. I ditched some unneeded furniture, had all this time to basically just clear the mind and think, but not think about the task at hand. Now, a lot of you guys know that I'm all about like pre-conscious thinking, right? It's that feeling where you can't remember the name of the movie until you stop trying to remember the name of the movie, and then it pops right in your brain. That's not just like a little quirk. That's a really real thing of like how the brain works. And so getting away from everything and just sitting in the river in a lawn chair, just chilling, really, once I returned to the kind of the life here in the office, in the lair, that break like hit the road, like the high octane think power of just taking a breather, just instantly hit. There's also a little bit of like a weird disparity between like the dreams of your fascinations and what you're about to do, and you know that you're about to embark on these projects, and then the reality of sitting down and trying to do a thing. When you're like living in like the camping life and like the road life, everything you need to do, you can pretty much accomplish right there in front of you. But with some of these bigger projects and stuff, I kind of forgot, like it takes like a patience skill. And that skill is knowing that, okay, I have a really cool idea, but after an entire day of like a manic 14-hour day of working, I've only sort of scratched the surface. And I know a lot of you guys and gals out there have experienced this, like having a brilliant idea, you're manically excited about it, especially as like TTRPG heads. We get super psyched about things. But then after like a day of taking notes and thinking about all this shit, you find yourself like 2% into the project, and it's really kind of a disconcerting feeling. So I'm returning to those skills of like, remember how to be patient, remember how to set out on a big project, but pace yourself and enjoy each step rather than just being like, I want to be done, I want to be done, I want to be done. So going through all that, but then like what's ahead is kind of something I want to holler about. Now, before we go into the future, well, look at that little dude. And with a fucking wicked ass full color world map on the back cover. Why don't more RPG books have the world map on the cover? Why? It's the thing you stare at the most in any worthwhile RPG session. We all know that. You're staring at the map a lot. You're staring through the damn map. Like you're like, 1,000-yard stare. This one has the full color world map right on the back cover of the book, so that while you're playing in this sort of new and unconventional fantasy world of Atria, there it is. Now, this may seem like, whatever, Hank, okay, we get it. It's on the back cover of your damn book. No, this is a big deal. This was like, I count this as an idea. It's, what's the old saying, every once in a while, the sun shines on a squirrel's butt? Well, this one, I caught a little ray of sunshine on this one. This, I feel, is damn good. This is a damn good idea. Right here, put the color world map on the back of the damn book, like Wildmount. Put the map on the back cover. I love the book Wildmount, but you could cut 3/4 of the verbiage to make it tighter and smaller and put the map on the back, and it would be one of the most perfect world books out there. This is Hard Suit, Mr. Goats. This is my newest book. This is a world and a little bit of a rules modification and add-on system for running these hard suits. They're like biomechanical dive suits that adds on to Index Card RPG. But even more so, it is my most complete world that I've ever published. It has some character stuff. It has all these different like cultural elements. It has a hex rolling system for rolling hexes as you move through the world. It has new monsters. It has the power suit stuff. It has a crazy mode called Discovery Play, where you don't actually design your character before the session. You come into your first session of Hard Suit knowing absolutely nothing because your character knows nothing. You come in as an amnesia type character, and how you do all this stuff is all right in here. As far as the state of my learning of skill, technique, precision, quality, this is my state-of-the-art book right here. This is the best quality that I have delivered yet, bar none. This is probably the best book that I've done. Master Edition, which you can see there's a bunch of them back there. I think I'm going to sneeze. Sweet mother. I almost died. All right, that time I did die. My liver was on the ground. I didn't need it anyway. Anyhow, Master Edition, yeah, I mean, that took over 5 years to create, but the quality in this book, so proud of it. The art in this book, so proud of it and so happy with. Kind of pushing myself to do more landscape artwork. And of course, you get several wicked ass D100 tables in the back of the book because we all love rolling D100 for treasure. Still probably the number one thing I wish other publishers would do in their books. Just give me a D100 loot table in the back of the book. Is it so much to ask? Is it really so much to ask? Like OSE, I have like 9 OSE books up there. There's no D100 table to just roll a treasure on the spot. Come on now. Give me the D1. Anyway, that's Hardsuit. So that's my most recent thing. So I don't want to just seem like I'm just moving on without really supporting Hardsuit. I have an ongoing game of Hardsuit. We're on session 7 or so right now. I'm sure a lot of you guys have watched the recaps. And so that's going to keep on going. I might shrink my group because I found that 5 players is a little much. To have 2 groups of 5 players every week is a little much for my brain. Yeah, Nimluth. If you guys didn't hear from me and why I'm mentioning Hardsuit just now, it's because I literally published this the day before I left on my honeymoon. The day between my marriage and my honeymoon. This is when Hardsuit was published because of the timing of the proof copies and everything. So it was like, you want to talk about threading the needle on this bad boy. And props out to my man JD for helping me out with that. So yeah, and as far as I'm just answering all the questions, by the way, today. Megamoo, yes, GenCon, which is also known as Mace, this November in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to be playing Hardsuit, but more so, we're going to be playing what I'm about to talk about. But if anybody has ever want to come and hang out with your old buddy Hanker and Fernale, GenCon in Charlotte, North Carolina is the place to go this fall. It's like November 11th or so. I'm going to roll up on that con like heavy, yo. I'm going to roll up straight ogre mode, bruh, because I really like this con. It's not like Gen Con where it's so huge and overwhelming. It's very small. It's very sort of family vibe, and it's all about playing games rather than all this noise and kind of crazy crowds and stuff. Just about games, getting at tables and playing. If you ever want to drink beer and play with me, that is the place to go this year. And no, please, no more Cracker Barrel. I humored you once with the Cracker Barrel. Never again. We will get quality breakfast next time. I get the kitsch. I get the gag factor. But the food, I'm going to have to say no, Cracker Barrel. I will not be endorsing Cracker Barrel on my YouTube channel. One of the coolest I got a few really special wedding presents, but one of the coolest is from my man-at-arms, who also plays Galmorn in the Dirty Jobs crew. He got me this epic, and it's not like a gag gift item. It is a super quality brass compass. It even has like a little lockable bearing thing, and like it's crazy. So apparently this is like a somewhat ubiquitous antique back when compasses were used a lot. And he got me an engraved compass. I don't know why, but it's in my hand right now, and I feel okay about that. Hi, guys. Back from the honeymoon. So get over to DriveThruRPG and buy Hardsuit. If you're experiencing financial hardship right now, just email me, hankerin.fernale@gmail.com, and I'll get you a free PDF. And if you like the PDF, you can make the call and get this book. This book is the boss. Now, I know it just seems like yet another book. We're in a bit of a flood right now in the RPG world. But this world is worth playing. It's a fantasy world, but that had technology many thousands of years ago that there's still tiny amounts of it still floating around. And therein lies some conflict and some adventure. But just the feeling of traveling this little piece of a continent is sort of the most touchable of the stuff that I made. I'm insanely proud of it. And I hope that there will be groups working their way into Hardsuit in the coming years and playing through this for a few years, because this is my shit right here. So also with Hardsuit, there are STL 3D model kits out there that you can get on DriveThruRPG, so you can build your own Hardsuit miniatures. You can probably kind of see them up there, but barely. They're back there. If you watch me on the socials, you've seen I've posted a lot of pictures of the Hardsuit stuff. We already had a paint contest for it. My man Caltrips won that contest with the super sick paint build that he did. I will not be at Gen Con. Obviously, here I'm in my room. I know a lot of you guys are just now getting to Gen Con or heading there, doing the big weekend of madness. Have a good time. Make your dice roll high. I just got back from like an endless adventure trip. So I'm gonna chill for a minute. So that's piece one. Yo, Pilly, what up, dude? So Hard Suit is the shit. Get out there, check it out. Tell me what you think. Don't forget, never be shy about just emailing me for a free PDF if you want to think about it before you can throw down the $20 or whatever on the book. Totally understand. You're my peoples. All right, so that's Hard Suit. Now, in this whole holy crap, I think I've rediscovered the deeper parts of my brain thinking phase of taking a break from thinking all the time. The other thing that you're going to be seeing coming from me here, and it's all about, again, GenCon in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am returning to Warmaker. Now, I don't know if Warmaker's up there. It is somewhere. You know, you ever put a bunch of stuff on a bookshelf and then you have no idea where anything is? Anyways, if you guys know, Warmaker is my wargaming system. And I don't think it hit with a huge splash. I mean, it has a lot of readers. It definitely is platinum, I think. A ton of readers, but didn't really make a huge splash because I don't think it's that controversial. It's more of a redux than one-page rules is a redux on like classic sort of Warhammer style wargaming. It reduces a little cleaner than that, basically using a binary hit pool system and an ability system. But knowing that I'm coming into GenCon this November, I want to roll in tough and I want to do some bitchin' Warmaker wargaming at that con. And so I've returned to Warmaker, but here's the crazy part. You've heard it here first. I am basically moving Warmaker into a card-driven, like a deck-driven wargaming system. And the decks are all the different armies and factions from all over the Runehammer universe. So you've got like runners from Altered State, you've got Birthday Boy and all of his like Exo Troopers. You've got the Bearcats kids. You got the Bearcats Invaders. You got Xeno Death Squad or Xeno Dead Zone. You got Viking Death Squad, which will be its own Warhammer or Warmaker faction. So you see what I mean? Like you're playing wargaming, but each 52 card deck is an army that comes from the Runehammer universe. So you can totally just bash like Super Smash Brothers style wargame the various factions and sort of forces from my weird little universe that's been growing throughout these years. So I'm working on all those decks right now. And I got to tell you, after doing like the first 2-3 decks and then like going back and kind of play testing them a little bit with index cards and kind of feeling it and like starting to crack the code on it, you know, like the balance of how many of each kind of thing make a cool deck and how to tweak that and how that could be a counterpoint to a different type of deck and how different wargaming styles can be kind of found in different decks and stuff like, oh my God, crack the code on this stuff. I have thousands, literally thousands of pieces of art laying around from over the years and making all these books and stuff. And so making cards out of all that art is freaking sublime. So anyways, keep an eye out for that. We're going to be doing some play testing with some different groups and stuff like that. The other thing, obviously, that's huge. It's right back there, Easy D6 by DM Scotty. This book is on fire. Everybody getting this book. This is probably the best-selling book I've been a part of since the ICRPG core. This is fast-moving book. People are really digging it, and for good reason. DM Scotty has got the brains for this stuff. He's got the experience for it, and it shows in his core system. So next, we're working on 2 more books for Easy D6. We're doing like a sort of an adventure encounter, sort of adventures in the land of Graxel kind of thing, which is like all about encounters and ideas that Scotty has mined from his table over the years. So you can kind of play a Scotty feeling world. And then the third book is going to be reminiscent of the awesome AD&D handbook series. Now, I don't know if you guys are into these, but remember the Complete Druid's Handbook, the Complete Thief's Handbook? Remember all those guys? I freaking love those books. They're some of my all-time favorites. And we're going to compress a lot of those into the hero paths for Easy D6 into the third book. So it has that just for players kind of vibe to a book. All too often books are made for GMs, in my opinion, and or both. It's made for players and GMs. And I kind of miss those days of getting the player-only books like the Complete Guide series back from the AD&D days. Freaking love those books, especially the Thief and Druid ones were my favorites. And we're going to try to capture that spirit. So if you haven't looked into Easy D6, check it out. It's really is a super elegant solution on the D6 dice pool kind of dream, right? I mean, D6 dice pool is something we all have like fond memories of, but no system has ever, in my opinion, really fully captured it. And that even includes my offering, Viking Death Squad. It's not quite as slick as Scotty's idea on the D6 dice pool. I think he's got one of the all-time slickest solutions to that feel of gaming. And it just shows, and just his style is slightly different. And of course, we have the incomparable Sean Scribbles Bova. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you totally should. Sean Bova. He is our illustrator for all 3 books, dedicated. He does the entire books. We're not going to mix illustrators at all. And his style is so dope. So he is just now starting on book 2 and doing his crazy thing. And like that vibe he does is super exciting. So those are the 2 big things I'm going to be coming at you here this end of summer, early fall, is the Warmaker stuff, building it into this deck combat game. Like even the terrain lives in the decks and stuff. So you can still play with zillions of miniatures, which is one of the fun parts of wargaming. But you can also play with decks, and then the easy D6 stuff. Those are my 2 big focuses. And then I've got 2 groups. So I'm going to play alternating weeks. So I've got a game every single week from here until next summer, the way it's looking. One is my OSE group is reassembling here in 1 week to start season 2 of the Dirty Jobs crew. So you guys can look forward to hearing all my ridiculous recaps of the Dirty Jobs crew, as they're going to roll a new set of characters, but in the same world that they basically created and changed in season 1. So their season 1 characters are now going to be old. We're doing about a 25-year gap, and a new group comes into the sort of aftermath of the first group's game. So that's the Dirty Jobs game. It's going to be in OSE. We're going right back to the lovable old OSE books that are right there. And the other one is the ongoing Hardsuit game. That's going to pick back up, and we're going to take that as well into the fall or something, especially now that we have the book. We've been playing out of a damned 3-ring binder. I'm better than that, man. I deserve to play out of a book, especially when you're rolling like loot tables. Here, you've got a seafaring loot table in the back of Hardsuit. Doing that in a cornball, partially not rightly made 3-ring binder, no, it's not good enough, bro. There's also a people to meet D100 table in the back of this, which I really, really am happy with. It's 100 random NPCs that come partially from my group's creation of, our collaborative creation of characters in this world. And the characters that are in my Hardsuit group are rollable on this table. So that's kind of a weird, crazy crossover. But the people that play in my table games wind up in books. They sort of become canon. You also get a tech loot table in here, and then you also get a primordial loot table in here, which is like things made out of bone and teeth and fangs and cool stuff like that. Anyway, you need this.
You need this. Help me pay my bills.
So that's the immediate shit that I got going on. Hanker Inferno right here. It's so nice to be back. I'm psyched. I got a new camera angle. Going to be throwing down. I'm even entertain a little bit of growth. As you guys know, I fiercely guard the authenticity of this whole interaction that we're having right here. The authenticity of why I'm on YouTube, what I'm doing, and making sure that I'm true to my craft and that I'm never just trying to like do this algorithm kind of mindset or fancy thumbnails that get clickbaity views and stuff like that. I know I have nothing against that. Rock on to everybody who does awesome YouTube channels and everything, but it's just sort of not me. But on the other hand, I want to try to grow the channel and just grow the momentum of what Runehammer is. I'm just still really excited about it. So I might even consider taking on a few sponsorships if I find something that's cool. Might even try to like up my sort of search game, like you can do little thingies with like tags or something like that. So if you have like-minded individuals that might enjoy hanging out on Runehammer, I'm going to try to come back with a little bit of a vengeance on YouTube this fall and get back to what everyone, 3/4 of everyone pesters me about, which is rune design. So what I want to do is bring some of my rune designs that I've been doing in Hardsuit and bring them here to the channel. And wow, wouldn't it be weird too if I did like a pre-recorded video? I'm so lazy. I'm just awful. It's really because I like the doing of the hobby, of the RPG hobby, a lot more than I like recording and editing videos. Does that make any sense? I guess it gimps me a little bit on YouTube, but it is a reality. Also, you're going to be seeing this world map for Atria coming up in a canvas print, just like this huge Alfheim one back here. That's going to be available. I'm also going to be putting my Blackmoor map up for canvas print. I probably won't be able to put the word Blackmoor right on. I might have to alter it a little bit. It's kind of like our version of Blackmoor. I don't like own the copyright of Blackmoor, so I'm going to have to, shuffle that a little bit, but it's sort of our version of it. So we'll have that if you want to play in that world as well. And really, there's no money to be made on like merchandise. So I just cut the margins to like $1. I think, or in some cases less, to make it a round number on the various merchandise that I offer, because it really isn't about making money. It's about people getting cool things in their hands. So if that makes anybody feel cooler, yeah, Darkmire, exactly, Darkmire. And maybe as this returning YouTube with a Vengeance comes in, we might even do the fabled drinking embarrassment stream. So those do not get archived, my friends. Those do not get archived. But it's been a long time. You guys have stuck with me through thick and thin. My patrons have stuck with me. And, times are tough out there. I know, like peeps are, struggling all over the world for all kinds of different reasons. And so I have noticed that even though patronage constantly grows, sometimes people are, cutting it down like $1 or something. And you can tell that's not because they want to bail. It's because they're short on ducats. And so I really appreciate everybody just hanging on. Without Patreon, I could not do this full time. It is that simple. I mean, it is cut and dry. That's why on the first page of every book I do, it says this book made possible by Patreon. It's real talk, baby. Real talk. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. And of course, there are going to be other things. I'm trying to carve through Dwero Deep right now. That's Greg Gillespie's new mega dungeon. And I had some art in the book, which is what sort of started my involvement with it. But started reading it and really liked it. And now I'm just trying to process it. It's a bit of a Rubik's Cube of trying to see how the maps fit into all the descriptions and stuff. But definitely a mega dungeon for the ages. If you guys are into mega dungeons, a lot like Barrow Maze. It feels just a bit bigger and more ambitious even than Barrow Maze, which is saying a lot. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun fall, and especially if you guys can make it out to GenCon in North Carolina. That's where you can see me. I think I'll also be lurking around at PAX Unplugged here in Philly. I think that's in October. But yeah, what's up, Alistair? When you first started Room Design, crafting channels weren't common, and now they're really common, yeah. I would do collaborative crafting, but you know what? I'm just really not doing that much of it yet. For one thing, I live in a far smaller space. And for another, I've really been focusing my craft on things made with Sharpies and paper that are sort of ephemeral, things that you kind of toss after a session. I really have not been doing the build a giant craft mass thing. I've been more focused, I guess you could say, on the sort of existential part of game mastering, of trying to be a really good game master, make stories that flow. And my focus has not been on craft. But if there is a collaborative opportunity, hell yeah. I think the collaborative opportunity I'm looking forward to the most right now is with MapCrow. Me and him are going to do some kind of crazy thing coming up, maybe like some kind of battle or something. And then I may have mentioned this on a previous video, but I also got the privilege of collaborating with Black Magic Craft on his new tabletop excursion, Idols of Torment, which will be coming up on Kickstarter this fall. And working with him to design the miniatures and stuff was a blast. That's like one of my favorite things to do. I also got the chance to do the character sheet for Few and the Cursed, which you guys will be seeing. It's by the guys who did Maximum Apocalypse. They've been kind enough to hit me up to do their character sheets whenever they pop up and stuff. So there's always little collaborations happening here and there. They aren't just necessarily what I'm like freaking out about. They're just, wonderful little opportunities and privileges that I get here and there. But you guys see my name popping up all over the place. It was really fun too to do couple pieces of art, 3 pieces of art in the Dwero Deep book. Or it's cool to see my art pop up in Arcane Library's Shadow Dark book. Like it, I remember you guys probably who have really been here a long time, over 5 years ago. Remember I came on YouTube and I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool to be like an illustrator for RPG books? Well, I'm here. it's as much as I can do to keep up with the commission load to do ink pieces for RPG books. It's super fun. I'm super lucky to have that. And after being in professional illustration for over 25 years, it's really nice. It's a sweet spot to come into after all those years of building my meager, sloppy art skills to be able to do it on the regular for what I really love, which is books. So yeah, I mean, throw your questions up. Don't hesitate, y'all. Hey, yeah, Dragon, don't worry about not hearing about Warmaker. I'm not like good at promo. I don't do like Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and I really just don't holler that much. I count on word of mouth. It's compatible with anything as far as miniatures. It just uses a pencil as its unit of measurement. So really you can use anything. You can even use pieces of paper or whatever, or dice, which is what I often do. Yeah, so go get Warmaker, will you, on Drive-Thru-RPG. Did you get a chance to check out the trailer to the D&D movie? Absolutely, it looks freaking great. Can't wait. What pieces are yours in Dweredeep? Oh, I did the temple, the deep temple. I did an architecture piece. I did the big Warhammer of the ancestors, which is in the middle of a page. And then I have a full page illustration in Dweredeep of the High Old One. It's like this dwarf made of stone. Couldn't believe with the caliber of illustrators in that book that I managed to get a full page is like, it's massive. Oh man, Shadows of Brimstone. Kevin with the deep cut, dude. That was a minute ago. Yeah, I'll get back to the room designs for sure. Will we see tokens for Ty? You have got to get off my nuts about the tokens for Heartsuit. Good grief. Several of them came up on Drive-Thru-RPG, but I will put it on my Trello board, sir. Please. You're making me go crazy. In the time that you've asked me over the course of 3 weeks, you definitely could have thrown something together, but yeah, I'll do it. Do you dig any dungeon crawling board games? My man Ben, by the way, OG mofo right there. Dungeon crawler board games, Massive Darkness. Massive Darkness is really cool. To be honest, I haven't played them in depth. I played like dabbler sessions of stuff like Gloomhaven. But I mean, Hero Quest counts, right? And I love the old dungeon board game. A little kind of kiddie, or Talisman was super dope, but those are really old references. I don't really have a new reference to throw down. I mean, I played the Doom board game. It's kind of a dungeon crawling style, but board games rub me weird. The learning phase of board games just gets me real squirrely. The most recent one that I had a great time with was not a crawler. It was Wingspan. That was a really fun one, and I got through the learning phase happily. So if there's a dungeon crawling board game with a happy learning phase, I would love to know what it is. I'm down with it. Thoughts on Artificer? Artificers are great. I think that they can be a little bit of an eye roller for other players in the group, like, oh, what are you creating now? So I solved Artificers in ICRPG just by making a spell called Create Device. Kind of bypasses all that stuff. I think they're cool. I think it's just, yeah, like I said, it can be a little bit of an eye roller for the players in your group. So I think as an Artificer, the way to be cool with it is to really control your urge to keep making crazier things. To make one thing and sort of tune it and work with the one thing, I think is a little bit of a cooler style. But rock on. There's a place for every kind of class in a game. Have you still been? This is Akiba giving war games a go. Yeah, totally. That's what I was just talking about. Totally, all about wargaming. I just don't like how Warhammer does it with all these books and all these hidden rules and special rules I can't remember, and having my book out all the time. I can't deal. But the spirit of what wargaming is, I absolutely love. Yeah. There's a lot of it would be cool if comments about gaming. How do I get them to reality? Well, I would focus mainly on what you have the skill, effort, time, and energy to execute yourself. Trying to deliver other people's ideas into reality, to me, sounds a little bit uncomfortable. No, I did not change rooms, Hunter. This is my room. I just completely redid it. I will not have a booth at a GameCon. I don't like booth life. It drains the soul out of me. Yeah, I never played Shadows of Brimstone. But yeah, I did some of the art. Hey, right on. Fitzloric, that's cool. Here we go. Chris, have you convinced Modifius to make, there's really no convincing Modifius of things. They kind of operate just on their own. They just kind of do their thing. The availability issue with Modifius and Index Card RPG Master Edition, I cannot deny, has been quite frustrating. I did not foresee that they would have this problem. I don't know that it is a problem for them. When you consider the scale of the sales that I do, I'm not sure it's worth that much of their attention. So it's not necessarily in their interest to proactively do reprints and promote them. I overestimated what that relationship would be like. And as a result, I have been offering print-on-demand versions of Master Edition to bypass this problem. But I've noticed Modifius has restocked Amazon lately, and a lot of the smaller online game retailers still have copies of Master Edition. So it is out there. I think this is a bit counterintuitive, but the worst way to try to get it is to order it directly from Modifius. I know that's weird, but that is reality. Here comes Matthew. You got your eye lately, RPG-wise. What do you want to play or create? Yeah, Matthew, I'm kind of really returning to the idea of a war game that is not a lot of effort to play as far as rules referencing and like carryability, portability and stuff, but getting back to pencil measuring wargaming and having a good time with it. Obviously, I have my 2 RPG groups like where I'm so filled up as far as my appetite for game mastering, just, RPG groups. So as far as like stuff that's coming out, I'm in a little bit of a wait and see mode right now. The hobby's in a bit of an odd state right now. It's a bit saturated, but at the same time, where are we headed exactly? I don't like to think of things in a binary term of like either play 5th edition because there are 40,000 books for it, or you have to be an OSR person. For one thing, I find the term old school to be useless because it's so vague. Things were really different in the 80s. Very, very, there's a lot of variety. And 5th edition is just its own kind of world that kind of lost me. So sort of where are we at? Well, what is like sort of coming our way and what's next stuff? I just don't know. I don't know for me, and I don't know for things at large. Maybe some people at GenCon will get some hints, but we'll see just where this, organic thing that we create together is all headed. We as audiences and we as creators, we're often intermixed. What we create and what's coming next is very hard to say, at least at this moment. The collector's edition is a collector's edition. It's a very small run. They keep talking about maybe doing a reprint, but I can't pressure them. They do it whenever they feel like it. If you want to help, you can always email them and ask them to do a reprint of collector's edition. That's probably the #1 way to try to make it happen. Yeah, the collector's editions are really cool. Really happy with them, but they were very rare. We only printed 500. Yeah, one-page rules is amazing. If you are familiar already with Warhammer and kind of comfortable with that level of detail and stuff, then OPR is the shit. Have you ever used 15mm miniatures? Yeah, Dan, but I don't really believe in the miniatures needing to be at a scale that lets me do more terrain. I just don't do accurately measured things. I use action figures, I use M&Ms, I use whatever. So I've never really been like, now that I'm using tinier miniatures, this board is more legitimately large. I understand the concept, but it's just not really how my brain works. Yeah, Mapronomicon, I know there's a lot of opinion out there that virtual tabletops are like where things are going. I see the virtual tabletop as a thing only used because of necessity, because you want to see homies that don't live in your town. But despite some really great times that we've had using VTTs, they're kind of like a really slow-moving video game with 2D graphics. The friends are what make what we do what it is, and the VTT to me is like it's like using Zoom during quarantine to like talk to your brother or whatever, like it's not ideal. So I personally strongly disagree that as a whole, as a mainstream, we're headed toward that. I think it's just a tool that's been handy. That may become a subset of what things are, but nothing in this hobby will ever replace a couple of beers and some chips and gathered around a table in a basement and play frickin' D&D. Like, nothing replaces that as far as digital tools, and I think everybody knows that. It's just VTTs are handy. You get to stay in your house, and the number one thing is you get to play with homies that don't live near you. That is the most important part. That's why I use them. But they do drain your soul just a little bit. They do. But I've also had some amazing games with my Council of Magi crew in there, so it's not like I can hate on it. I just don't think it's going to become the core. Yeah, Fitz, I agree. It's useful, but it just doesn't mean like where it's headed. I disagree. Chris, I absolutely, as a person who used VR heavily and was in the featured artist groups with Oculus, I think VR is a complete dead end. I don't think people like it. You don't like having a thing on your head. It feels horrible. It's not good for your eyes and your noggin. The whole thing's bad. Now, VR in some kind of on your desk 3D sort of liminal holographic space, I think that'd be wicked. But I don't want to put a thing on my head. Nobody wants to. Yes, Kevin, absolutely. It is suited for skirmish, and it's suited for large scale. Like I said, if you're on the fence about getting Warmaker and you don't want to get the book right off the bat, hit me up and I'll throw you a PDF. Yeah, I don't think. Also, AR will also completely fail if I have to put something on my head. We need just a little cool little unit like this. You set it on your table and you've got a complete 3D interactive space that's not see-through and is convincing. Might take some time. Yeah. If you got invited to do one of the big D&D live streams, would you do it? I don't know if I would do it. If I could go there and be like in the studio with them, I would absolutely do it in a heartbeat. But I don't know if I want to be a thumbnail. I don't know. It just depends. Depends if, the relationship. Again, it's just all about the people. And I would roll the same kind of characters I always roll. It's usually a dwarf who's like older and who's like bad at fishing. And maybe was a soldier in the past, but is sort of too old to be in the army anymore. That's just the Yukon Pete, Hankerin Fernale type character. Even Ingrid Bernal is another one of my dwarf characters who's like used to be an adventurer and now is a painter. That's just my archetype. That's just what I like to play. It's where I feel I can make convincing role play. Or Osric, my character, was the same thing. Yeah, good old Yukon Pete. And yeah, it would be interesting to get invited. I don't know if I'm at that sort of level. I'm sort of a garage level YouTube personality. I'm not like one of those sort of A-listers. But if I could get an invite to play in studio with some of those crazy cats, well, hell yeah, that'd be a no-brainer. But I think I would be weird in a little thumbnail. I don't know. If the opportunity comes up, hit me up. Let's figure it out. How do you feel about Spelljammer? Well, OG Spelljammer was freaking dope as hell. We played a ton of it when I was in college. The last 3 years of our college campaign was all very heavily Spelljammer oriented. We kind of came and went from the world of Karamakos and all that, Faerun, and then Spelljammer and all that good stuff. Why they're making it again, I have absolutely no idea. I really can't get inside the head of Hasbro D&D. I have no idea why they're just making things that they made already. It just baffles me utterly. When we have an entire multiverse to fill with new ideas, I mean, I guess it's some kind of corporate risk aversion behavior to remake things that have been made in the past, but why? We do the most creatively flexible hobby almost that there is. Why just, hey guys, remember Spelljammer? Well, now it has new illustrations and 5e rules. I don't know. Yeah, so Spelljammer is totally awesome. For those just now discovering it in 5th edition for the first time, you're going to have a blast. Spelljammer kicks ass. And yeah, Pilly often hangs out on these streams. That's my man right there. I've been in that dude's house, yo. I slept in there, and he didn't even know it. I was in the closet the whole time. Recent inspiring fiction. Well, the book I just finished was called Spontaneous Human Combustion. It was a collection of short stories, and it didn't ignite my soul, I got to admit. I'm going to be moving on to Dragonbone Chair. That's going to be my next. I'm going to go back in time a little bit, back to some of the more classic stuff. I saw that one of the classic covers came out. I can't. Checking if I know who did that cover. Yeah, like you can get the original cover, which I really like. I know the cover shouldn't matter, but that got me interested in it again. That's by Tad Williams, did Dragonbone Chair. I'm going to go back to that book, and that's going to be my next read. I don't think that it's hard to get people to use things that are new if they're good. Yeah. Have you read the Earthsea books? I have not. I've heard those mentioned here and there about being awesome. I just haven't gotten to it. D&D YouTube seems to have a lot of shallow content. Ouch. Breaking Inferno, bringing the torch. I'm excited to see more of the content. Well, I try not to be shallow, that's for sure. I try not to do like character build type stuff or clickbaity kind of, this is broken kind of stuff. Or really even a lot of advice. I kind of trying to move on from the whole advice thing and just express myself about my creative efforts, the ongoing sort of madness that I've had the luck to do now for coming up on 6 years, going to be 7 years pretty soon. And to use that privilege for good, to like make dope things that I think belong at tables. Like Absolute Tabletop says, make what you would use. That's always what I'm trying to do here on the channel. I am familiar with Banicula. If I read that, I was like in 4th grade. Nice. Earthsea. Yeah, I'll take that into consideration. Yo, Tito! What's up, man? Talk to the player. If they can't fix the problem, dump them. Well, yeah. Indeed. Have you seen Map Pro? I just mentioned that's my upcoming collaboration I'm going to be doing. So yes, I have watched a lot of Map Crow. Really dig his drawing style, and I like his style of just being a human. I don't really vibe as much with the sort of produced YouTube videos as I do with just a sort of humans being humans. I find myself not watching much of the produced stuff, but I love when somebody's just like hanging and just going through their process. That just soothes my soul. Well, thanks, Mapper Namcon. I appreciate that. Thanks, man. Looking forward to getting some of these new Ghibli bits that haven't really been revealed out there in the world. Right, Alistair. Totally. Yeah, all right. All the way down to Hector here. Well, Fitz, I have an Ultimate Dungeon Train right here. After being very excited about it in the beginning, I do think it's a bit counterintuitive at the table. It's a lot to explain to a player that this isn't actual space. It's a spotlight of a space. So the excitement about that kind of wore off a little bit when I really took it to the table, which happens to a lot of cool ideas in the RPG space. Cover artist, Michael Whalen. Thanks, dude. Yeah, it's like the green one, the green cover. Bill Edmonds, my man, bringing the factoids down here. Thanks, dude. Hector, what's up? I'm the only one who's tired of the current D&D trend of everyone making the weirdest and wackiest character. Dude, that is not a current trend. It is not a current trend at all. That has been happening since the very beginning in the 80s. That's always been a part of it. Always, always, always. I think just YouTube has a way of emphasizing certain things at different times. But this is also why the word old school doesn't work and doesn't make any sense. Because back in the old school days, things were wildly varied. There's no way to describe what was going on in that period because everything was going on And it's same nowadays. You can't say nowadays, oh, D&D's all like Pokemon now. No, it's not. There's a zillion groups playing a zillion different ways, playing a zillion different systems. So generalizations suck. There you go. Yeah, I mean, Paranoia, for crying out loud, came out in 1984. And, like, it was hot. It was hot shit. You want to talk about weird, wacky mashup madness. So is that an old school role-playing game? Yes, but it completely goes against what most people refer to when they say OSR. So, I don't know, put that in your pipe and smoke it. I don't know what to do with that OSR nonsense. Someone in Gygax's campaign played a dragon. Well, yeah, they did Monster Mind at their table, where you'd have a player play a very important monster to give it really heavy tactical danger. Yeah, and WotC can do whatever they want with D&Ds. Rock on. What Ben Milton called it the hermetic hobby. I love this word that he used. I want to do a blog about it, but hermetic D&D is what I think it's about, at least for me. It's a homemade thing. Nobody can own it. No company can sell it to us. It cannot be bought or sold. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of being, not a product. And so rock on with WotC D&D. They can do whatever. Yeah. What's one campaign you've always wanted to run but still haven't gotten around to? Oh, man. I don't know if there's such a thing. I don't think I have like a bucket list that's just completely unsatisfied. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. Maybe a good guy goblin group, but I wouldn't say it's like something that I've always been wanting to do but haven't done. It's just sort of there. That's a tough one. I don't know. I've run so many campaigns, I feel pretty satisfied. I just kind of like work through it. It's just like, you're just making furniture. Let's just make another chair over here. Yeah. See you later, Nimluth. Trying to scan through here a little bit. We're really trucking now. Yeah. Oh, good layout on Deathbringer. Hey, thanks. Here we go, Chris. Can we get some idea of what you plan to do with hero paths in Easy D6? Yes. Well, I've discussed this with Scotty a few times, and really what it is, it's just I'm going to commit heresy. I mean, I'm going to, shred the constitution of Easy D6. I'm going to discard how simple everything was made and make it complicated. And also add like a lot of fictional depth and fictional options that could be rolled or chosen by players so that we lead you more into this world that Scotty lives in called Graxel. This is his sort of semi-silly fantasy world. And I've been learning it, talking to him personally, and us communicating that kind of nerfy world of his. We all know his world because it has like these weird, creepy monsters, and it has a very specific Scotty style. And bringing that to a player in detail is what Hero Paths will all be about. But also breaking how simple Easy D6 is. Adding complexity to it just for fun. It's just straight up heresy. And that's how I'm going to do it. What's your take on Gonzo? Like Troika and UVG and everything. I think it's really fun. I think it's intensely difficult to convincingly role play in those worlds. And no slight against any of those creators or those fans. I just think really strange, innovative, and novel concepts make role-playing really difficult to make it convincing and emotional and deep. I think one of the things that works so well about fantasy worlds is that we all have this huge inherited vision of what these worlds are like. And we play that vision out together, and it's relatively intuitive. So we can be emotional and be interesting in those worlds because we all kind of have like an assumed awareness of those worlds. Chutney's doing awesome. He learned to cook while we were gone, so he's now the family cook. Mapronomicon's still chilling. How about another Malort review? Well, do I need to review it or just drink it? I don't think I have much more to say about it, but I sure could go for a smacker of that right now. Speaking of hermetic hobby, yeah, fits. Appreciate you making an icon and stuff for people who make ICRPG content. Oh, Kane, yeah. They're not overprotective. There's no reason to be critical of Wizards of the Coast for their treatment of D&D. It's a multi-million-dollar franchise, and they're not on a personal kind of creation level like I am with people, and that is not better or worse. It's just what they're doing, and they're not overprotective. They're rocking on, and they clearly are making a ton of people happy. So go get it. I don't knit either. That doesn't make anything wrong with people who knit. Knitting's dope. I just don't happen to do it. So what about VTT? Some of the things you'd keep the 2D environment feeling. No, I don't want it to be interactive really, except moving tokens. I just think less and less and less and less is what VTT is all about. That's why we made the Runehammer VTT. But you can just use Roll20 and not use all of its wacky features. Don't use digital character sheets. Don't use all this. I don't know. Just, yeah. And maybe because like a lot of us make our livings using computers nowadays, so doing the thing that's supposed to be so fun on a computer, it can feel a little off and feel like work. Any standout entries for you at the Ennies this year? Yeah, I thought actually Colossal was one of the better ones. It's got that kind of fun cartoon style. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. I'm not a big fan of the Ennies in general. I'm not sure what to say about all that, but it's sort of like a promotional sort of circular feeling to it or something. I don't really submit myself to the Ennies ever. I probably wouldn't win any awards, whatever. Anyway, I don't know. It just seems like a little ecosystem that is having a good time with it. So rock on. I'm just sort of not a big part of it. I know Root was in there, and Root is really, really neat. But yeah, the whole like awards thing is just sort of not my jam. How would you adapt Discovery Method from Hearthstone to other games? It's easy. You just need to be ready to start those amnesia characters and have the GM skills to work people into what their characters are through little bits of memory. And the Hardsuit book will walk you through that. But it's also just a lot of confidence and a lot of collaboration with your players. Just a lot of eye contact. You know what I'm saying? But like anything in our hobby, if you're going to create origins, you're going to create classes, you're going to come up with ability balance and all this different stuff, you're just doing the hobby. So as long as you do all that kind of DIY homebrew stuff, Discovery play is going to be very instinctual. I've not run an Indiana Jones style game ever. That is an interesting option, but no, I've never really done that. Current gym split. Oh, you're talking about split sets or bro splits as they're called. No, I follow the philosophy that with the gym, there's really no right or wrong way to do it, except that you leave nothing on the field, so to speak, when you do exercise. When you hit the gym, you hit it with everything you've got, not getting hurt, but getting down to your core and working with the parts of your body that either feel strong or need work or whatever. But the effort and the intensity and the engagement and the investment is what matters. And, technique and exactly what you do, of course, there's research to do and stuff, but being healthy, feeling strong, on the attack, it's more of like a mindset and an energy level to me than it is a set of techniques or ideas. But get in there, Hector. Get it done. Lift heavy, baby. Earn those beers. How do you handle downtime? I don't. I know everybody. The word downtime just keeps coming up. I just don't. We just montage our way past it, and if somebody has an item they want to bring up, then we just, the word downtime to me is a perfect word to use because it describes what that is. It's down. It's a downer. Downtime is a downer. No. If a player has something they need to say and it's going to take 2 weeks and we want to invest some role play into it, then absolutely, let's do one dice roll and call it something and move on. That's just us, though. That's just my table. Not necessarily saying anything about how anybody else does their stuff. Rock on. You'll know what feels right for you. Any news on you getting a P.O. box? I don't have one yet. I don't. I work at a brewery, and I would love to. Okay. Hang on. If you hear me clicking right now. There we go. Get a P.O. box is now on my Trello to-do list. I got you, dude. Big bad breakfast. Just email me, I guess. And let's get this started. Here we go. Yeah. Understood, Fitz. Yeah, sure. Gym advice is such a massive universe of stuff. I don't know if there's any way to even begin to broach it here, but you'll know what your body wants. Listen to your body. Bring the heat. Not a question. I just want to say thank you. What's up, Chris? Word up, man. Congrats on the wedding. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Feeling pretty dang good about it. And that trip was fabulous. That was the trip of a lifetime. I read the word beer and I almost said the beer of a lifetime. My honeymoon was the beer of a lifetime. Yeah, the main thing you want to do is grunt. Yeah, and if not, scream. You go to the gym, you're going to make a lot of friends by screaming. A lot of friends. Well, hell, man, we had 140 people hanging out this entire time. You guys are all out of your damn gourds. Bunch of lumpy-headed, strange people. I'm probably going to get out of here. It's like 2:30. That's everything I wanted to say. So keep an eye out for game recaps coming up. We're going to be talking more about some hard suit mechanics. Probably talk about Easy D6. I'll be here every Friday afternoon. This is kind of just when I do my thing. Always archiving my videos, but I will not archive the drinking streams, which we should do one of those coming up pretty soon here. Get some mugs. Everybody stock their fridge, and we'll drink till the tripod falls over, all right? Yeah. People say that the ghosts go unnoticed by the strange and unusual. Or something like that. I can't remember. That's a Beetlejuice reference. When you're writing and editing ICRPG, what software do you use? I use Adobe InDesign, and I use Google Docs, and I use pen and paper. Word up. Thanks for the beer money, Marcus. I'll put that toward a beer. What's up, Ben? Will do, man. I miss you, bro. I miss you bad. I hope you can come to North Carolina this year. We need to chill, my man. Water drinking crew. Hey, yo. Hey, he's back. He's back. Scala, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Great to be back. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. Remember, do something nice for somebody out in that world. Show a little bit of love. And if everybody does it, the whole world's going to be a better place, okay? Until next time, I will see you guys next week. Don't be shy to hit me up, hankering.fernail@gmail.com. Get me on the grams. Don't go to Facebook. Don't check me out on Facebook. Facebook's weird, man. Just go to Instagram, which I've recently been told is actually just Facebook. Peace, you guys. Have a great weekend. Keep it real. Don't steal. You're always going to get a deal, and roll them dice high, will you? All right. Lift heavy, y'all. I'll see you next time. I'm logging off. Ooh, baby, I'm logging off.